One. Hey trendsetters, it's your girl Heidi, and I am here today with the dope, the phenomenal Blackett. Wait till you hear who we got on today, y'all. I mean, she's coming with all the smoke, all the whistles, all the bells, all the everything, y'all. I mean, I want to thank you, Terrell, for your time. We're talking about the founder of Supreme Dynasties. Y'all know I got to read all of this. She got a whole list of shit, y'all. The founder of Supreme Dynasties Enterprise. She's a publicist, a brand strategist, a media relation expert. She got so much stuff going on. We're going to peel back this onion skin. Welcome, Terrell. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Wow. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you for having me here this beautiful afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I know that you got a very busy schedule. I don't care about all that. I got you here now. I'm gonna hold you hostage for a little while. I'm gonna hold you hostage for a little while. So talk to us. Talk to us first. We're gonna go through each one of these things on the list. Um, Supreme Dynasties Enterprise. Talk to us about that. What is, you know?
Well, it's a company that I started several years ago, right? Um, Everybody asks me how I got here, and sometimes I ask myself how I got here as well, because by trade, I am a licensed special ed teacher, ABA therapist, and I came from, I went to school to be a psychiatrist, and then
Okay.
and I had a major in accounting, so I was a double major because I thought I was going to be out here, checking mental health and doing taxes, and for the early parts of my career, I did, I worked with, in DOE, and I did a lot of evaluation with, the children. And then from there, I had opened schools, so I had like 3 schools where I had inclusions where I work with providers such as, psychologists, speech therapists, OT, PT, and then provide services for children and their families, right? And then and I would do, when the school closed down, I had a whole line of people trying to do their bookkeeping and taxes, and that was my life, early on. And then I was always into fashion. And it just, one day I just wound up, on the runway, and I started working in that area, and I became, a stylist, and I was working with, I that was early on with Love and Hip Hop, where I was doing, working on set, and was supporting, the stars with their wardrobe. And I started working Fashion Week, and then, which led me to, like, you're pretty good, and that's how I'm here with, as a publicist. So they was listening to me, and I was like, why don't you do it like this? And then just like, they're like, want to say, you want to represent me? I'm like, well, I'm a designer. I don't really do that. But they say you're so good at it. So I started working with somebody, on the Dairy team, and started getting projects and doing campaigns. And then I was like, I'm so dope. I'm so good at this. Why am I working, keeping myself down? So I just decided.
And you're so dope. I mean,
So that's
wait
how
till we
that
get
that
into it.
was the birth of Supreme Dynasties Enterprises, because I worked on so many campaigns, but under other marketing companies, and I was like, no, I want to have full control, and and here we are right now, so
So,
7 years later.
wow, it's marketing, it's branding, it's launching, it's really doing your thing. So for the first, for you guys, number one, she's a brand extravaganza. She's this whole thing. She's coming with all the smoke around branding and getting people out there. Um, Publicist.
Yeah. And I think people don't really understand what a publicist is, and I think a publicist is somebody who, takes your brand, right? Somebody, so publicist is media attention, right? So what we do is somebody will come to us, and it could be in all genres. It could be like corporations, it could be individual, it could be like artists, painters, musicians, actors, models, right? And it's like, hey, I want more exposure, right? I think I do amazing work, but I just don't know the route to take. I want to be seen, and how can I position myself to be seen? So at that time, we do we evaluate them, we look at, what they're presently doing, and then we say, okay, we have something. So we start putting up a campaign. Well, for models now, if you're looking for big work with big brands, right? We just package you up nicely, get your headshots, we put you, photo shoot for you, and then we package you up really nice, right? And then now we get you in front like the big brand. So, it could be like if you're looking to do walkways, maybe something like a Donna Karan, Fendi brand, whatever, the Victoria's Secret brand. So whatever it is, now we bring media attention to those brands now. So what we do, we'll send over your pictures now, and we'll get you invited to the right, they always say to you, you need to be in the right place at the right time. So we make sure you're in the right place at the right time. That people,
and you prepared to be in the right place at the right time.
right.
Sometimes
Because coaching comes with that. Coaching comes a lot with that. A lot of the time people come in and they are very talented, but the etiquette is not there. So we have to go through an extensive coaching, right? How do you speak? How do you answer questions, right? As well as somebody may piss you off, how you not, choke somebody out on a red carpet, And I think we've seen many of those that winds up on the Shade Room or TMZ where it says, this actor or this singer did this to this photographer or this media journalist, right? So we try to prep you that, listen, there are people out there that would do things to
are triggering. That's a nice way to say it, right? This is the new way to say it. There are some people out there that are a bit triggering, right?
So we try our best, and sometimes they really deserve it, but we're protecting your brand. And one of our things and what if something like that happens now, right? What if you do, punch a photographer out? Now, my job is now to do a damage control. So now we come up with this, a scenario, and we put it together to put you in a more favorable light, so.
That's a job within itself. Baby.
I'm like, oh man, I wake up 2:00 in the morning, and I'm like, headlines, phone ring, and I'm like, oh man, I thought it was gonna be one of them nights I get a full rest, and I gotta come up there and put out a press release really fast, and
Oh my goodness. So this you just walked us through being a brand strategist and a media relation expert. This is all that encompasses that, talk to us about, that as what you do, this is what you do, media relations expert. So talk to us about that.
So really and truly, like we're their like middle person, right? With what the clientele we working with the media. So when we define media, what do we mean, right? Media is how you get your news, how you get your information, right? So like how we have news, right? You have you put on the radio, you had 10-10 win, right? So these are things you hear. How many times you put on, they have the advertisement, right? That okay, listen, how do you know that Chris Brown is coming to your city, right? That's through the media, that's through the advertising. So this is what we do now. We build those relationships with all like the news channels, right? All the influencers, because right now we in a new era now where virtual and digital marketing is very, very important now. And a lot of people on Instagram, TikTok is something that, has for the last few years has come and taken over, and people have been, branding themselves a lot on TikTok, right? So us knowing the right people to connect with. So, we know that TikTok is a new thing. Okay, we're going to make sure that how this information is positioned on TikTok now. We're going to use it so all the social media platforms now. Now, the newspapers, I think we're coming from years ago. Think about when you come and open your door in the morning, you see the newspaper, right? That was a lot of people, first job, right? They'll ride their bicycle and throw the newspapers, right? Unfortunately, print is not as popular as it used to be, right? Everything is now digital, right? But still, there's still people who, journalists who write articles up, right? Now the articles may be online now, so you can just go to their website and print up the articles, right? So those people are super important, right? Because those people are going to get the information. So people like that, Oprah Winfrey's, the talk shows, those are things that we want to have relationship, because if you have recently, one of my clients, you know, have a new show out, right? So we wanted to make sure that we were able to position ourselves, right, on the tamales, right? So those are important. Those are the media. When we talk about media, I think people, it's TV, it's the radio, it's the print,
It's
the social media.
trendsetters. It's
Okay,
trendsetters.
so
It's
I think
trendsetters.
trendsetters, podcasts, right? Or so podcast is really taking over. Everybody wants to do a podcast now, right?
You know,
It's super important.
we don't care about everybody else. We original. We are original.
Yes,
Trendsetters. You know,
yes.
we don't care what everybody else
So,
is doing. We're not
so,
following
and
any
listen,
trend.
you get to see me here. So this is also a media relationship. Like if I was in the
Absolutely.
PR, if I was somebody who was pushing a project, you know, they would say, "Hey, Heidi, great news. I have Blackett here, and she's doing this new project, and we want her to come on your platform and tell you all about it, right?" So that person will bridge that relationship now. And Heidi said, "Oh, sure, we would love to have her." And then you would have me, "Hi, everybody," and then I will get to share with you, you know, all the upcomings that happen.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Which is why you're here today, right? Because we definitely going to go through some upcoming projects, some really big projects, some stuff that you've worked on. You know, let's move into it. You've worked on MTV, LTV with Tyler Perry Studio. You work with New York Fashion Week. Let me stop. All of this stuff, you know, the Governor's Ball, the Summer Stage for CMAs, the Caribbean Music Awards, you know, and next year you're rolling out the Grammys. So I'm going to stop. We're going to stop. We're going to stop right here, right now. We're going to stop. We're going to take it back a little bit. MTV, BET, let's not forget. You know, I didn't have it there, but I remembered. This is why I told you guys, this is, you know, you so dope. All of this stuff. You do their branding, their marketing, their, you know, advertisement. Talk to us.
So what they bring us on is, I play different roles sometimes. Sometimes I'm the lead where, you know, we just put it together and then we outsource, you know, other relationship, right? So we come in now, we say, okay, here, this is, as we just did the Caribbean Music Awards, right? So something like that. We have, I'm also have the Bronner Brothers Beauty Awards honors coming up with the Brad and her wife and Tiana Taylor, right? So how do we do that now? How do you know what those events are coming up? So we sit there, we plan, okay, we want people to know that this event is happening in this city, and you know, we want them to go purchase a ticket, right? So we sit there and we plan, right? So we talk about, okay, well, who is the audience, right? We want to know who the target audience is, you know, what area we're tapping into. So those are things we do a lot of research, right? We pull a lot of, we go and say, okay, where's the happenings here, right? Who would best serve, which population would best serve, right? So those are the things that a lot of this happens, the stats are pulled before you see the marketing, before you see the flyers. We want to see where it makes sense. Obviously, if we're doing a project, an urban project, we're not going to, you know, be promoting heavily in Kentucky, right? So a good brand strategist know, okay, we want to know who are the audience, who are, sometimes you have shows that just cater to females, right? So we won't go to a men's show and a men's ball, right? Because that's not the target we're looking for, right? So what we have to do is really do a lot of research based, pull a lot of stats, right? Do a lot of consensus and say, okay, where is the need? Where's the niche? Who we trying to attract, right? Mm-hmm. And from there, that's when the marketing start happening now. So we say, okay, this event is happening in New York, right? So who is New York? Who's related to New York? We talk like a tri-state area. So now we're going to spend the dollars in marketing in New York, Connecticut, Jersey, you know, even up to DC, right? Because those people can get in the car and drive, right? So those are the important things that we look at, right? Then we look about, are we catering to a younger crowd? You know, we're doing a rock concert, right? You know, is our 80-year-old, you know, grandma really want to be with noise? No, you gotta make, not to say they don't. Sometimes they listen, they want to be turned up too. Listen.
Let me tell you, everybody was out at CMA, okay? Everybody was out at young, old, it didn't matter. They did not discriminate. That was
so So you look at that, so it always that, percentage out there that you think that's out the box. You're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was your thing, and it's surprisingly surprised that when you do capture that. So we really have to really sit back and really plan and analyze, okay, what makes sense, and then also too we want to align with the vision. So whoever we're working with is an award show, if it's a TV program, if it's a particular artist, a painter. And we look at them either we have conversations. Okay, well, we want to hear to go. And sometimes they don't know. I come in because sometimes you have people, they're just a talent. Right. They do what they do well in what they do, but they don't have they don't know how to express themselves. So I will ask them, what do you want? What is your visions? They don't know,
right.
So
right. That's
so
where you come in. That's where you come in.
My job to, make it make sense for them to understand, what their visions are, what their branding look like. And that's why people don't know logos are branding. How many, let me tell you, those babies, 12 months, 2 years old, when they see that M, they know what? McDonald's, right? It's the branding, Many times based on the branding, the logos, you don't even see the name of the company yet. But just the branding, okay, you see the purple side, you see the T-Mobiles, you see the Metro, you see these things, the Popeyes, you already know when you pull up, right? You don't have to see. So that's where we come from. So we want to know the how. Sometimes it's just a word. Sometimes it's an image that when people hear this phrase, they know it's you. When people see this image, they know it's you, right? What do you represent? We want it to be so sweet that when people see this, they know automatically, oh, here she comes. Here he comes.
I mean, you did your thing with CMA. We saw that CMA all over. It was in Texas. It was in Texas, so you definitely, everything, the lead up, it was phenomenal. It was.
I give it up to the whole production team. I think what they did this year differently is they collaborated with BET, which is great. So I big up everybody from BET who came and collaborated with CMH. All the founders. Big up to everybody. So that was great, and it was a great vibe.
It was a great vibe. It was a great vibe. I mean,
you were seeing people that you haven't seen so long, and I'm like, oh, where you been? How you doing? So it was really, really great. The vibe was good. Energy was good.
This was the first one that I missed.
Oh, really?
And it will be the last. The way that y'all rolled it out this year, it'll be the last. I'm vetted into that CMA, scene. I'm not going to miss any more. You really enforce that fact. Your team
they have the watch party
so, before and after. I mean, it wasn't only the lead up, and I want everyone to understand it's not even the lead up, it's the after, what you guys have rolled out as a result and things like that really, keep these things going, keep people interested, keep people wanting to come back and show up and support. So, ETV, Tyler Perry Studios. What was that like? Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that was incredible. It was incredible. And I happened to be based out in Atlanta, and just working on the different shows and different sets was something that amazing. Like you get to see, like, when you first starting out and see that production, when you see things, how it comes together, like, wow. When you actually see what it was from the beginning, it's something amazing, right? And that you can say, oh, well, I was a part of that. And something I'm super excited to talk about. You gotta have to come back.
Yes.
Tyler Perry. I can't talk about right now, but when the rollout comes, I'm gonna come back and share that.
Okay. I'll hold you to that. I'll hold you to that.
I have a new project coming out that I'm super excited about and what I want to share. But it's stuff like that where, I have a client and her name is Sharon Gordon, and this is the first. I usually don't work with authors, and she's she's a new author, so she's worked in the music industry for over 40 years, worked with all the biggest she was also a PR too, and she had her 6-month launch yesterday, and you look at it from bestseller after 3 months, you look at it from where to start. He was like, wow, I did that. We did that. We put it together, you know? So it's always great when, you know, it's just a conversation, an idea in a boardroom on a Zoom, right? And then when the actual layout and you see when it's done, like, wow, we did that, you know, and you got to kudos for everybody who's the team that comes together to make it happen. You know, those are one of the things that, you know, it's like pride, you take pride in, like, you know, I was a part of that. You know, that was my work, you know, if I play an essential part in making that happen. So it's a great feeling.
Yeah, yeah. You got so many other things here. You got so many other things here. You worked with on venues, Hammerstein Ballroom, the Apollo, Randall's Island, the Governor's Island, Nassau Coliseum.
That's my thing. That's what I'm big for now. I work with clients, right? But doing events is my thing. I just love doing events. I just love the big shows, the events, the adrenaline get you pumping. I just love it, you know. And then when it's done, you get to breathe, you know. Not just I don't love my clients who I work with individually, but doing those events, I love it. I love it because you get to network and meet a lot of people, and putting together. It's no easy task at all, you know. But just you get to meet and work with a lot of great people. That's my thing. I love doing the corporate. I love doing the events. I love doing the concerts. I just love those things. That's me. You know, I was like every time I'm like and you do it, and then it's over, and you're like, oh, you
You
miss
know
it.
why? Because it's so grand and you love showing up and you are flamboyant and you are, that's your creative expression. We all need creative spaces and that's your space. That's when you get to be your best. You tapping into all of that and you bring that out in other people. And that's the reward. The reward is when you, as you said, walking in the building and seeing what you're working with and just having a vision and seeing how that comes together. That really is rewarding. And to be there on the last day when the events do roll out and it's just magic. And it's your magic. It's your spark. It's your touch. Just
Yeah.
that you had a role to play in that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The Grammys 2026.
Coming up, like we had a meeting. Yeah, we had a meeting the other day. I'm like, whoa, this is gonna be great. The what's to come is gonna be really great. It's gonna be really great. I mean, if you can, you need to come out.
I just was talking to my daughters about that, right? So I was like, we going to the Grammys, girls. We going to the Grammys, girls. So it was I said, we miss CMAs, but and they were laughing. I said, no, we going to the Grammys next year, girl. We going to the Grammys. We in there. We in there.
So, and it's so excited because I have a client, who put up her work for a Grammy nomination. One of my other clients, he was a Grammy nominated before, and now I'm doing working the PR back. So I'm every element, like, so it's each which way I'm showing up. I'm showing up for my clients, my personal clients.
I love it. I love it.
So I mean, it'll be a real splendid if they win. I'm gonna put it, they will win. Put it manifestation. They
Right.
win, that would be a celebration. But also the magic that goes behind putting it together. I'm super excited. Like, it's early on the production, and I am the meetings that we've been having and all that they put it together.
I know. I can only wait because look at what you've been doing. Look at what's out there that got your branding attached to it. I can only imagine, GMAs is such a grand thing. Everybody waits for the Grammys. That's
Everybody, like, I think that's the stamp. Like, yeah, they have the other award shows, but it's like, what it is, like, as in school or entertainment, you have, the first award, the second award, like, but it's like the Grammy is
the
what you
grandioso. That's
appreciate, but I got a Grammy,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you all the other, the BET Awards, the MTV Awards, when they used to have it, like, everybody, it's good to have, but the Grammys, it was something like, it's like the Oscars,
Yes, yes, yes,
so,
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, and then,
It's a world stage. It's a world stage. It's a world stage. So this is where you see the impact, of your
Absolutely.
work and things like that. You were talking about some of the artists that you worked with. You worked with Sizzla, you worked with Isha Blenda, Bruck Up Dancer, you brought, Cleo the Fox, Oliver Samuel. You've worked with, the guys in the real entertainment, the greats. You've worked with the greats. You worked with the great, and that's just a small scale of some of the people that you've actually worked, hands on with. And then you're working with Heidi, so the
There
greatest,
you go.
but the greatest yet to come. The greatest
Oh,
yet to
you
come. The
understand? There you
greatest
go.
yet to come. The
There you
greatest
go.
yet to come. So let me just
Hey,
throw that out there right now, girl. You working with Heidi, and let's talk about that. Thank you so much for working with Trendsetters Next Gen Summer 2025 internship. Thank you for the work that you did with those kids. They absolutely loved you. You did your thing. You did your thing. I have to give you
appreciate
your
that.
flowers. I have to give you your flowers because by the time they came back to me, they were like, we already worked with that with Terrell. They were so
Ah,
prepared. They interviewed the judges, the Brooklyn criminal court judges, and they were ready. They were ready. They had their questions. They had their focus. Even the judges were impressed with, how they handled themselves. And that had nothing to do with me. By the time I met them, they were like, we did this already. And, we were doing mock interviews and things like that. And they did it. That I didn't have anything to do. Thank you. Thank you for making,
you so
that a little
kind.
bit easier. But my gosh,
And
we
those are the things that, yeah, we do big events, but what's really impactful, like to get them young. First of all, kudos to you because summertime to get
thank
kids
you.
to be, committed to showing up weekly, that says a lot. Because I
And
know
they wanted to. They were there. They were showing up, girl. They
they
wanted
showed
to.
up, and that's not you don't really hear that summertime for you
They
to lock
showed up,
it.
and they were there,
No,
and
so
they were
that just says
enjoying
a
it.
lot about you, a lot about what you do, how they feel about you, your mission. Because when I came in, I seen Full House. I was like, I'm like, do they have? And it's something that they didn't have. It's something that is voluntary. You don't
Right,
have to. It wasn't like you have to because sometimes kids get in trouble and they said you have to fulfill these community
right.
hours, whatever,
No, it wasn't
right?
anything like
It
that.
wasn't like that.
It
And
was,
and they were intentional. And those are the things that are true to my heart. They're impactful because the fact that you made me feel very, very happy when you said that how they because sometimes you go and you show up and we were all kids, we were like, oh, here we go, and they roll their eyes, right? So it made me really happy that they got a lot out of it
they
and
did.
and that it can take it, you want to get them young, right? So yeah, you do, yeah, the Grammys, yeah, this, yeah, that, but you know, this is more impactful to me. Like these moments like this where I could really show up, and that's why, I always take time out my day. Cause I'm like when I heard what she was doing, I'm like, nah, yeah, I got a lot going, but I have to like really, pay because these ways where you really see the difference and the transformation that when you could be like that story you shared with me earlier. I'm like, wow, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, it was impactful. What you did with the kids, as I said, we had kids that came in that were, flying through their words, and you had to tell them, take it back, take it back. But, you know, we're working with you and working with Ty and working with Robin. By the end of that rollout, these kids were so confident. These kids were so sure of who they were that their words were important to them.
Yeah,
They wanted other people to hear as clearly as they could what they
absolutely.
had to say. And it was a beautiful thing. And again, I thank you for that because that's something that you put in. That was your time that you put into them, and it showed. It showed. It showed. I can't wait for you to read the magazine. We're rolling out the magazine. We're doing the finishing touches. We have another intern that's doing graphics on that thing, and she
Really?
and it was for them, this whole thing, this whole project is for them to show their work and their talent and give them portfolio building skills. You
Right.
understand? So, they're doing it. I had to step back. I know we late, but I'm stepping back and I'm letting them lead the way with that. I'm not too much on them, and it's turning out like this whole project, this whole program was. It was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, as you said, the kids are great. The kids are great, and they're just, ready to learn and want so much more. We're going to be rolling out another, internship. I'm working with the students over at UHD now. You and I are going to, not me, but through the program, you're going to work with them on understanding branding and learning and working with the marketers that we have on board. And I'm looking forward to that. And, so many great things, so many great things in the future to come. And, thank you. Thank you for all the work that you've done on and for our communities. One of the things that representation is key.
Yeah,
Representation is key, and you're doing
absolutely.
it. You're doing it in excellence. You're making us all proud. People don't really know when they see the visual who's behind it. So here it is. She's behind a lot of the visual and the marketing that you see that's going out there. A lot of the branding guys. Where can people get in contact with you? Let's just ask that question. I know you're not going to be opening the door to the floodgates, but how can people find out more about Supreme Dynasties Enterprise?
So you can go to our website, supremedynasties.org, right? You could find me at terrelltalkbusiness.com. You could also follow our page, Supreme Dynasties, on Instagram, and then you could also, if you one of the people who needs a phone line, like, you can call me at 678-887-9369, or just send me a DM at Terrell Talks Business on Instagram. That's, the best way to contact me. Send me an email at at terrelltalksbusiness.com. So Terrell is TERREL at Terrell, TERREL, talks with a S, business.com. You can send me an email as well.
Terrell, I had to write all of that stuff down. Terrell, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I'm looking forward to all of our work that we're going to do in
Yes.
communities together. We not, as you said, is Metro. We doing Brooklyn. We doing Jersey. We doing Connecticut. Well, those are my service areas, and now
Yes.
I'm out here in Houston. So we all over. Wherever you at,
I used to be out there in Houston a lot. I used to have a lot of, have a group home out in Houston and had a lot of Airbnb. So when I'm out there, what I mean, hit you up.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And when you out in Atlanta, we're going to be doing big things. I'm going to be dropping some correspondence so you could know some of the things that we work on the back end, and we can get some of your people to support us. But that's what the branding is about, right? That's what the branding is.
That's right. There you
That's
go.
what
There
the
you go.
branding is
There you
about.
go.
So,
There you
we
go.
got stuff that we got to do. We got, I'm jumping in, one of the, my pastor said, and we're going to leave with this. My pastor said, know who you're talking to. So if the opportunity hits, don't waste that moment. You understand what I'm saying?
Definitely, definitely.
I got the branding guru right here. I'm definitely y'all gonna see Simply Heidi. All of a sudden, y'all gonna see it. Y'all gonna see it. Y'all gonna see it. Trendsetters talk, y'all. We love y'all, Trendsetters. Thank you again, Terell Blackett in the house. Terell Blackett.
I appreciate having me on today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Terell. And we'll be talking with you guys, Trendsetters. Look out for us. Peace. Stay great.